What up, nerds? Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie Smith, and today's review is a chilling horror tale told from the perspective of an 8-year-old child whose small, troubled family is being targeted by an entity that she calls Other Mommy. Horror fans, today I am talking about Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. If that name sounds familiar to you, this is the author who wrote Bird Box, which also had the movie adaptation with Sandra Bullock in, which I still have not seen that movie or read the book, even though I do have the book here on my shelf. That's going to change. This is the first thing I've read by Josh Malerman. Absolutely loved it. I don't think is the right word. I have utmost respect for what he did here. This book affected me in a completely different way. It really hit me emotionally. The ending messed me up. I mean, I'm talking about so messed up that I immediately had to pick up something really light and funny. I turned to trusted contemporary romance writer Emily Henry. I'm currently reading Funny Story, having a great time with that. That's totally lifted my spirits. I'm glad that I'm only halfway through because after filming this review, I'm going to go immediately back to that book to just get out of my feelings for this book. So let's get into this one a little bit. As a bookworm and someone who reviews books on YouTube, I always have my ear to the ground listening for any buzz about new titles coming down the wire that I think I would enjoy and that I think I would enjoy talking about with all of you, whether it be a recommendation or a cautionary warning to maybe get it from your library. I kept seeing this one pop up. Early reviewers were reading this book, calling it the scariest book they'd ever read, talking about how creepy it was, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I was actually talking to a friend on Twitter about Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. Both of us had read it, loved it. We were going back and forth, and that conversation led into Incidents Around the House. I splurged and used one of the Audible credits I've been hoarding to pre-order this book, and y'all, if there's one thing I can say about Incidents Around the House, audiobook is the way to go. In the intro, I mentioned that this was told from the perspective of 8-year-old Bella. The narrator is a 17-year-old voice actor, Delaney Nicole Gill, and she does an amazing job making it sound like an actual child is telling us this story. She's able to put all of the emotion, the fear, being on the verge of tears, the confusion that this child is experiencing while dealing with this entity that she originally thought was her friend. I mean, she calls it Other Mommy. That means at some point this child trusted this thing. The author's choice to write this from the child's perspective and then having it sound like a child is telling you the story, it really dials in on the creep factor because every single one of us has been around a child at some point in their life where that child just up and said something super creepy that just freaked you out. You probably have never forgotten about it, and you're probably in your mind right now picturing that moment in crystalline clarity, just the tone of their voice, the expression on their face, and then they'll just snap right out of it like they didn't even say anything. So excellent choice on behalf of the publisher for getting someone who sounded like 8-year-old Bella. So let's dig into the book description just a little bit more. This child's entire world is her family. Her mom, her dad, and her grandmother. The reader learns at the very beginning that this child also has this entity called Other Mommy that she talks to every night after her parents puts her to bed. I'll confess I even thought perhaps that Other Mommy was Bella's imaginary friend. I mean, I had an imaginary friend named Jeffy when I was a kid. And actually, thinking about that, that probably scared the stuffing out of my parents because I remember talking to Jeffy like he was always around. Something Other Mommy always asks Bella is, can I go into your heart? That question is so disturbing on so many levels and can be interpreted many different ways by a child. The more Other Mommy asks this question and Bella either chooses not to answer or says no, this entity starts showing its malevolent side, and here's where Josh Malerman ups the stakes. Things begin happening around the house that attracts the notice of other people. Bella also starts seeing other mommy outside of her house, like she's following her. I was constantly changing my predictions for what the ending might be, and while I did kind of get some of it right, Malerman really took it to a whole different place that I wasn't expecting to go, and it really got to me emotionally. This story is about a family that is just as haunted as their home. There's more than one layer to what this book is telling its readers. Malerman did a phenomenal job capturing this child who has no idea what's going on. While Bella is struggling with this, her parents are struggling with, how do we deal with this? What do we do? Who can help us? When we get to that point of the story where we're just trying to figure out what in the world's going on, the book did feel like it did get caught in a little bit of a loop, and I got a little bit anxious for us to just move past it and get to the next stage where things come to a head and we either deal with it or we don't. Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. Scariest book I've ever read? No. Creepy? Yes. Disturbing? Very much so. Even though this one screwed me up in the head and got to me at the end, I really enjoyed it. I'm very happy that I splurged and used a credit on it. This is one I'm going to go back to and revisit. I just have this feeling in my bones this is going to be our next creepy kid movie that we're going to get out of Hollywood. So psychological thriller, horror fans, I would absolutely, this one is a must read for all of you. But if you're a little sensitive to things with kids, go ahead and have you something light and funny lined up to go into right after that, so you can just get your mind and your heart right. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've been on the fence about this one, hope I was able to push you over to one side or the other for determining this is one you need to read. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next review.